Goodall and Oswin were the directors of a corporation which was engaged in the business of syndication. Essentially, they sought money from investors in order to combine that money to build apartment blocks. They operated two relevant syndicates called Delamere Apartments and Arcoola Apartments. The problem is, Goodall and Oswin were basically just thieves with a clever scheme. You see, they misappropriated the investors' money for their own purposes, and then when it all came unstuck, as it inevitably did, they claimed that they personally could not be criminally liable because the crime was committed by the corporation. Sure, said Goodall, we were the directing minds of the corporation, but all that means is that our mental state and our actions must be attributed to the corporation. The corporation would then be wound up and they would get away scot-free. You have to give them points for ingenuity. The Crown, however, still charged them. The Crown couldn't charge them with the actual misappropriation offences because those truly were the conduct of the corporation. Instead, they charged Goodall and Oswin with aiding and abetting the corporation to perform the crime. Goodall still objected. He said essentially, how can it be that my conduct, which was at law the corporation's conduct, how can my conduct also at the same time be my own personal conduct? Surely it has to be one or the other. The court found otherwise. Justice Sangster said the company has its own separate artificial legal entity and the accused his own separate natural legal entity. But they are nevertheless separate legal entities, either of which is legally capable of aiding and abetting the other. Now at first this seems pretty weird. How can your conduct as an individual aid and abet that exact same conduct as a company director? But if you stop and think about it from the point of principle, it does make sense, because there really are two sources of criminality. Goodall himself personally was a crook who decided to steal from people, but the corporation as a legal person was the entity entrusted with the money which was then embezzled. By separating out the natural person and the legal person, nobody could avoid proper criminal liability. From this case, we learn that while the conduct of a director can be attributed to the corporation, the director can remain personally liable for their own behaviour.